Well, hello, church family. I'm glad to be joined for today's midweek update by Mel Eby, who serves as the treasurer on our elders board. Thanks so much for joining me today, Mel.
Betcha, Dave, not a problem.
Hey, listen, so over the last little while, obviously there's been a lot of talk about reopening as our province starts to reopen, and we've been saying we're going to give you an update on that. So that's what we want to do here today.
First, let me say a big thank you for being part of our church, as we've had the opportunity to be together in an online format over these last 4 months. It has been great to see many of you leaning into interactive elements of our Sunday online gatherings, and many more who have continued in life groups as you've met online. During this time, we are also hearing of creative ideas of church watch parties on Sunday or parking lot and backyard gatherings that allow for physical distancing and provide a space of connection and fellowship. We've seen people reaching out in an increased ways by blessing others through phone calls, care packages, driveway visits. So to begin, we want to say, way to go for being the church. As we head into summer, and as our province cautiously reopens in increasing ways, I'm sure that many of you have been asking the question, what about our church? When are we reopening? What will this look like?
Well, let me give you a bit of backstory to how we as a board have approached the question of reopening. As we began this conversation, we wanted to approach it not just from a standpoint of what was allowed or how can we try to get back to normal as quick as possible, but rather beginning with questions about what is God doing in these days? And what is He asking of us in order to participate with Him? We want to make sure that rather than just doing what we've always done, we consider how to best join Him on mission in the season that we're in, with the realities that we're facing. How do we best keep in step with the leading of God's Spirit, honor our federal and provincial leaders, and stay on mission in our city?
As we've considered those questions, we have come to see that God is giving some profound opportunities in the midst of many challenges we face today. As Pastor Dave noted on Sunday, while circumstances have changed, our mission has not changed: to take the gospel to those who need to hear it. God's vision to build His church has not changed, even if it means doing it outside of the traditional four walls. And our values of prayer, people, place, and purpose are maybe more relevant today than ever before, particularly as we pray for our church, city, and world, as we look for ways to effectively love people, especially in the place where we've been planted, in order that God's kingdom purpose would be lived out through each of us.
So where does this land us as we look toward the summer and fall in terms of reopening? As we prayed and discussed where we're at in these days, we came to the conclusion that we want to pour our resources into finding creative ways to up our game in terms of discipleship and evangelism. We want to pour ourselves into the work of equipping people to be continually growing followers of Jesus, who help others become growing followers of Jesus. And while our board has taken some time to begin to talk through some ways that can take place, through how we worship, witness, teach, and fellowship, that's going to be an ongoing conversation with our staff and leadership team as we plan through the summer for the upcoming ministry year.
What this means in terms of Sunday morning is that at present, and we all know things can change pretty quickly these days, we plan to continue with online gatherings on Sundays, even as we look to other ways to gather for fellowship, teaching, and prayer. We would encourage you to find creative ways to continue to connect with one another, like gathering with other persons or family for church in your home, having a meal together, phoning up some other folks in the church, maybe meeting on Sunday afternoon in the park with some others, and having a backyard barbecue with your life group.
Right. And part of our focus toward discipleship in the fall will be to look at how we can use discipleship spaces to get together and be in community, even as we're learning and growing together. We know that God created us for relationship, so we're working to be creative and to hear your creative ideas of how we can do that in a way that helps us grow deeper in Jesus and have a greater impact in our community.
Some of you may be asking, what about other churches? Maybe you've heard that others who have resumed in some form of in-person Sunday morning gatherings. Well, we are talking with other churches about what they are up to We also recognize that as a leadership team here at Lakewood, we're called by God to be responsible to listen to what He is asking us here, what we would be doing at this time. Right now, we feel that He is leading us to ramp up our focus on discipleship and impact our community rather than put all our energy into an in-person Sunday gathering.
We're going to continue to review where we're at in terms of reopening in the days ahead, as regulations shift and circumstances change, always with a view to what we're hearing in the world and with a listening posture before God as we look to Him to direct our steps.
We recognize that this is an unusual time that we are living in, but it is also a time where there are some profound opportunities to extend the love of Christ to one another and to our community. Let's lean into the challenge that God has placed before us and not lose heart.
And if there is some way we can be equipping or encouraging you, if there's a way we can help you to take a step deeper with Jesus, please let us know. We love you, church, and we look forward to continuing to move deeper in Jesus together. So thanks for having to listen to this. Thank you, Mel, for joining me on the call today to share what's been on the board's heart. Appreciate you being on the call today.
You're welcome, Dave.
All right. God bless you guys. We'll see you on Sunday.
See you.